The Navy's newest aircraft carrier will be christened this weekend in Newport News, Virginia.
The Gerald R. Ford will be the newest and most sophisticated carrier in the world when it's finally commissioned in just a couple of years.
24-Hour News 8's Rick Albin's been following the progress of the Ford every step of the way and tells us that someone else in West Michigan will be at the christening with deep ties and a very close connection to the aircraft carriers of the greatest generation.
There was an announcement on Channel 8, article on there quite a few months ago about the Ford being, I thought it was commissioning. And I said, man alive, I'd sure like to go there.
You could say that Muskegon County's Gerald R has a thing about aircraft carriers. He has had since he was a kid of 19 in the United States Navy, serving on the then newest aircraft carrier in the military, the Antietam. It was 1945.
They loaded all our planes in and went through the canal to San Diego, and then they loaded on a bunch more planes, and I don't know how many more troops, Marines and Navy, and went to Pearl Harbor.
An Essex-class aircraft carrier pulls into Pearl Harbor 3.5 years after an attack there brought the United States into World War II and young men like Gerald R into the service of their country.
I was impressed. There was an awful lot of Navy ships there. The Arizona was still just superstructure sticking up out of the water. Scared.
And why not? The Antietam, with Gerald and his shipmates, was headed to the Pacific Theater, where a war with Japan still raged, and by now, war was something his generation knew all too well.
We'd seen some pictures, not much, on what the war was before we went in. And it wasn't nice.
I deem this reply a full acceptance of the Potsdam Declaration.
But then, 3 days out of port, something happened.
The unconditional surrender of Japan.
The government of Japan surrendered. The war was over. And for Gerald and the rest of a generation, a new chapter of their lives began. But the memories of those couple of years on an aircraft carrier are still vivid. Fast forward 68 years. One of Mr. Rattering's naval contemporaries, who just happened to go on to become President of the United States, will have an aircraft carrier named after him, and Gerald will be there. And yes, he still has a thing about aircraft carriers.
Very excited about it.
What are you looking forward to most?
Just seeing the ship. It's going to be a beautiful ship.
Rick Albin, 24-Hour News 8.